Hi, welcome to One Take Gold
Movie
Movie Reviews.
Reviews.
I'm Barbara,
And I'm David.
and tonight's movie is...
Well, I was just going to say we do this for our own enjoyment.
Yes, we do. But we also are interested, if you happen onto it on YouTube, just put a comment down below and let us know how you stumbled onto this channel. We're just doing it because we didn't want to eat any Tide Pods or ride our bikes off of the roof of the garage or
Or have somebody dump ice over our heads.
or kick some poor unsuspecting kid's feet out from under them when we say jump. We're just doing it because we thought this might be kind of a fun thing to do. So anyway,
Tonight we're continuing our Bogey series, Humphrey Bogart. And tonight we are reviewing A Passage to Marseille. It was a 1944 film starring, of course, Humphrey Bogart. And some familiar faces that we've seen in other Bogey movies.
Claude Rains was in this one.
Yep. Peter Laurie.
And the fat man.
Sidney Greenstreet.
Okay.
And Michelle Morgan. And tonight Bogey plays the part of a French journalist who is accused of sedition and murder, and he is sentenced to serve his time in French Guyana in a prison there. And this is during the time of the, I guess you'd say, World War II.
Of the Germans into France, the pending invasion. Yeah.
And he and some of his fellow French compatriots escaped from Devil's Island, and where do we go from there?
And they get picked up by this ship,
Yes.
and this ship just happens to have some French officers on it, and the captain I believe is French also, and they're hauling 6 tons of nickel ore to France. But while they're on the ship, the captain receives a message over the wireless. Anyway, and France has signed an armistice with Germany, and there was this darling little cabin boy, just a young boy, couldn't have been more than 13, and he, you could just see the tears in his eyes, and I mean, I know it's a movie, but and the heartbreak of all of the men knowing that their country has fallen, and the patriotism in their hearts. But there was one bad guy, of course, the fat man. What's his name? I just call him Fat Man from...
He was Major Duval in the movie.
Major Duval. And he has his, other officers who are with him. But anyway, it just breaks the hearts of the men, all the men except for that little bunch, because they were in for whatever they can get out of it anyway.
But the French captain of the ship did what was right, and he decided that the 6 tons of nickel ore was not going to fall into German hands.
Yes.
So he diverted the ship to England.
Yes.
And it's during this time that that Major Duval learns that the ship has changed course, and he exerts a takeover of the ship.
Yes.
And that's where a lot of the action toward the end of the movie happens.
Yes. And the cabin boy gets killed, and a German a German plane attacks them out there in the water, and Peter Laurie gets killed, and he was...
And that brings up a point too. I don't know if you want to bring it up later when we talk about
What?
it. Toward the end of the movie, a controversial scene in there.
Yes.
But before we get to that point, some other things I wanted to point out.
Okay.
This movie actually took place or was filmed 2 years after Casablanca, but there are six of the actors in Casablanca are also in this movie. I also learned in my reading that Warner Brothers built a full-scale merchant marine ship in 3 months.
Holy cow! I didn't know that.
So that was something interesting. Also in this movie, by the way, was George Tobias. He is a he's not well known. His name is not well known, but I think if you saw him, you would recognize him.
You'd recognize his face.
He played Abner Kravitz in the television series Bewitched in the 60s. In this movie, he's very beefed up. He's very muscular.
He's really big. They call him petite. Yeah, because he's so huge.
But that was something I thought was rather interesting, because later in the life I know he is not near that size.
No.
One other thing I learned too about Sidney Greenstreet, who we've seen in so many of these movies with Bogey, is he had only an 8-year film career, but he's among the best known and most recognizable actors in cinema.
Wow.
Of course, he's also very big.
Yeah.
But also, this movie has what's called a flashback within a flashback within a flashback.
Yeah.
There are several flashbacks to previous events in the movies, and you have to follow it to recognize all those. But that was something else I thought was rather interesting.
Yeah.
And then one other thing I just wanted to mention about the movie, and I guess it's when maybe we wanted to talk about that scene first.
Well, okay, so they have machine guns, or airplane guns to shoot down airplanes, and this German airplane had just come and just riddled the ship with bullets and killed a lot of the sailors and everything, and Humphrey Bogart, of course, was our hero. He shot the plane down, and it landed in the water not far from the ship. And they saw the plane fall into the water and turned around, and someone said, "Look, they're alive." And this was a very controversial scene. Humphrey Bogart ran back up to one of those machine guns and shot every one of those Germans down. Now, we're German descent, but we're not Nazis. We love the Lord, and we love people, and we love America very much.
And also the French captain said you can't shoot helpless men. But of course he had just seen some of his closest compatriots be gunned down. So he said who are the savages or whatever? Did he say something like
And he was right. They were just, oh my gosh. Anyway, so.
And then in the film, I looked at some of the reviews online. They weren't necessarily that good, but I thought it was really, it was very enjoyable.
Provoking.
I would say enjoyable. A very provoking film. To me, there were 2 examples of uncommon valor in the film, and if you watch it, I think you'll be able to point those out when those happen. It was a moment that made me think. I thought this is what it's really what love of your country is about. So I thought that was great. So I guess with that we need to
in the light of the fact that things are going on in our country right now that aren't American. So
that aren't very patriotic, certainly. But what was your rating for the movie?
Oh, I would probably give it about a 4.
I would give it a 5. I liked it. Like I said, it made me think. I thought there were some examples of like I said, uncommon valor that were, I thought, very, very good. Very, like I said, very thought-provoking and very, very neat.
It was a good movie. It was black and white, of course, but it was a good movie.
A lot of action.
Yeah, a lot of patriotism for France, of course.
Yeah, vive la France.
Patriotism. which is kind of dead these days. But
Anyway, that's the movie.
that's our movie.
Passage to Marseille, 1944. Another bogey film.
Yep, stick with us because we're going to be doing another bogey film. I think, are we going to try to do Casablanca?
I'd like to do
next?
Casablanca
Okay,
next.
so stick with us and learn some more about bogey.
Thanks.